What the fuck is up, you dirty, degenerate cocksuckers? It's nice to be back. We've taken a little break. Merry Christmas. It is currently 11:25 p.m. Christmas evening. I'm here back in Florida, back with family here on the East Coast. I guess first and foremost, I want to wish a Merry Christmas to everyone who follows us, everyone who listens to us, whether it's on iTunes, YouTube. 2013 is wrapping up. We started this back July 2012, and I'm really glad that we're still doing it. We're still going strong. 2014 is going to even be better. And I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody who makes this podcast what it is. This is going to be an abbreviated podcast, as you've probably already seen. There's no music. There's no one else other than me. I'm recording this shit off of the voice memo app on my phone. I'll get to the technical issues in a second, but I really got to shout out my boy, Ross Finkelstein. He's been on just about every episode of the MMA Podcast. He's produced probably the last handful of episodes of the MMA Podcast till I get my technical shit in order. And I've really got to take my hat off to Ross, the intelligent Jew. Ross Finkelstein, E before the L on Twitter. And not only is he, a friend of mine who I want you to follow, but the guy actually breaks legitimate UFC news, was, credited on a bunch of sites. He brought you a bunch of news about Shane Del Rosario while he still was battling for his life. He recently dropped the news about the UFC Fight Pass digital media package. Follow him. Ross Finkelstein, of course, Front Row Brian, of course, the man who opened the door to so many friendships, Ramses at the Aunt Jimmy show. Ramses is a beautiful motherfucker. The original gangster, the original co-host, Chris Lowe. You can follow him at C. Lowenstein. You cannot forget my boys, Yao and Alan. That's Yao at YAO_the truth. Alan is Westland Eagle AH. Hunter, Elena, Lexi, April, Jen, Joyce. I mean, I could go on and on. Technics, Med Ninja, that's Technics88, Med Ninja, J Jeans, MMA Mental. I could go on and on for literally probably an hour just talking about the cool motherfuckers I met on Twitter. And I know I probably haven't mentioned most people, but just know if I fuck with you on Twitter and I'm sending you tweets and I'm laughing at your shit and favoriting you, that I appreciate the shit out of you and wish you had a very Merry Christmas. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're an intelligent Jew like my boy Ross, whatever faith you subscribe to. Honestly, I don't even know what faith I subscribe to. But we really love this shit out of all of you. I'll jump over to the technical thing really quick before we get into MMA. That's why I'm literally sitting in a car right now recording this. My family's all passed out. They're dreaming of sugar plum motherfucking cocksucking fairies because it's Christmas. But I'm here sitting in a vehicle recording this shit on 3G. I'm going to email it to myself. Turning into episode 71.5. I don't have the heart to call it episode 72 because, there's little to no production value in it. I'm not, playing any music. I'm literally just recording this shit off of my iPhone, off the voice memos, because I've been going through a little bit of a hard time as far as the laptops go. I had this HP laptop for a few years. It's what did probably the first, what I did the first 70 shows on. It's just getting old, and these HP laptops are notorious for overheating. I got a laptop with a strong processor, and the case just could not handle it. It is too hot. It cannot handle it. Hot. We will talk about GSP's retirement in a little bit. But I got an Ultrabook. Ultrabooks apparently also suck extreme cock. So I got an Asus Ultrabook. Because on Black Friday, it was like $750, but we're selling it for $499, so I jumped at it and bought it. And surprise, surprise, it turned out to be a giant piece of shit that I'm going to return when I get back to Denver. Because, I'm here in Florida visiting family and whatnot. So hopefully once I return this laptop, I find one that doesn't suck complete dick, and we can get back on the road of producing high-quality podcasts for all of you motherfuckers. And yeah, we really can't wait until 2014. Just thinking how much better we got, not just in what we did, but the people we brought you, just experience. I feel like in 2012 I grew a bunch. In 2013, we really solidified this group of awesome people. Me, Ross, Yao, Alan, Ramses, Chris, the entire gang. The Ninja Larson, cannot forget the goddamn Ninja. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in 2014. And I hope you all are down for the ride as well. And I think that does all the personal bullshit I've been yammering on for 6 minutes now. And it's only me here just doing a bullshit monologue. So let's get into the mixed martial arts. Like I said, it's not going to be a full podcast. Going to try and keep it a little bit abbreviated. This is episode 71.5. We haven't done an episode since before UFC on Fox 9, so I definitely wanted to cover that. UFC on Fox 9, it may as well have been called UFC Alpha Male. It was December 14th. I'll get into that main card real quick, but just wanted to touch on a few subjects really quick. Cody McKenzie, I don't really know. Cody's Cody. Cody is one of the most, just one of the most out there personalities in the UFC, and apparently, there's got to be a great story there somewhere. I haven't heard it yet. I don't know if that's just because it hasn't come out yet, or because I've been kind of removed from the whole MMA media thing, being here in Florida, soaking up time with family. I've probably been on the internet less than 10% of the time I usually spend. I really only check the internet a few minutes every night before bed and then just pass the fuck out. Mainly because I'm getting wasted as shit with my Irish Protestant family. I probably, before coming to Florida, being in Colorado on my own, I don't think I got, blackout drunk at all ever, because that's not really the move. That's not what I like to do. I've gotten blackout drunk twice in the last 4 nights. My family likes to drink. They wake up, just an example, Christmas, we wake up at 9 or 10. I can, I guess, do a mimosa, something light, which is orange juice and champagne for people who don't know. But I got cousins drinking heavy Bloody Marys, and one of my cousins said he was making a bloody beer. I don't even want to know what the fuck that is. But, speaking of alcoholics like my family, Cody McKenzie shows up to the Sleep Train Arena in Sacramento at this UFC on Fox 9 card this past December 14th. No mouth guard, no shorts. Apparently he's got to get someone to go out and literally get him a pair of basketball shorts that had pockets on them. Thank God. I mean, someone got fired. Someone whose job it is to check shorts. I mean, when I played City League flag football, they made sure we had pockets. So the fact that somebody was fighting in the UFC with pockets is a fucking travesty. Cody wrote his little area code over the Nike swoosh. It was cute. And he got a little Boylan bag, mouthpiece, whatever. Cody McKenzie's a clown. Moving on, Zach Makovsky, who I saw fight at RFA 11 just 3 weeks before defeating Scott Jorgensen. That was a very impressive victory. Jorgensen didn't look flat, but Zach just really looked game. And after watching this, I honestly think the UFC needs to sign Matt Manzanares, who I watched Zach Makovsky fight 25 minutes back at RFA 11. And Matt Manzanares put as much of a fight up against Makovsky as Scott Jorgensen did. So if Scott Jorgensen's got a contract, I think they definitely need to look at this Matt Manzanares kid. Skating through these, I'm trying to make this not an incredibly, horribly long podcast. Bobby Green defeating my boy, Pat Healy. Green is game, Pat, I don't know whether that whole thing of defeating Jim Miller and getting his bonus money just took the wind out of his sails, but he's not looking as sharp as I thought he would look in his UFC career. And finally, before we get to the main card, Ryan LaFleur defeating Court McGee, which we all know Court was a solid middleweight. He's moved down to welterweight. He hadn't lost. He is just I want to call him a brick. He's not a brick like Rick Story's a brick, but Court McGee is a tough matchup. And the fact that Ryan got past him really, kind of opens my eyes and makes me think that he could make an impact in that welterweight division, which you got so many guys coming up that weight class. You got Brandon Thatch, Hung-Yu Lim, who's going to be on the main event of that Singapore card, fighting Tarek Safadine, and with George leaving, I think this welterweight belt, it could be changing hands a lot as far as the talent we see coming up, and George, the guy who's had the belt for so long, leaving. Let's get to the main card, and yes, I got all this shit written down on a piece of paper. I did old school style for y'all, because I'm sitting in a goddamn car, a white SUV, if anyone wants to know, kind of shitty, it's like a 99. But we will move on to the main card. Joe Lauzon defeating Mac Danzig. I wrote Lauzon defeats Miller, but we all know Lauzon fought Danzig at UFC on Fox 9, 30-27. All three judges saw it, and I agree with that. It's nice to see Joe getting back into the win column. The vlogs he releases pre-fighter, second only to Dana's vlogs. Moving right along, Chad Mendez defeating Nick Lentz. Two judges saw it 30-27, one saw it 29-28. Chad Mendez was apparently very sick. He had the flu. He didn't look like his normal self, which, him explaining he had the flu afterwards really did make a lot of sense. And the fact that he went out there sick as fuck with a sinus infection and beat down a very, very game Nick Lentz really, I think, says a lot for Chad Mendez. Lentz is still young. He is going to be around for a while. Moving right along, another alpha male team member, Uriah Faber, defeating Michael McDonald via guillotine choke. Uriah Faber, he's the fighter of the year 2014. It's him, Mighty Mouse, Belfort, but Uriah Faber has just looked gangbusters. I think this win against Mighty Mouse has earned him the spot to fight the winner of Renan Barão and Dominic Cruz early next year. That'll obviously be a really good fight. All of these alpha male guys have gotten so much better with Dwayne Ludwig at the helm. If you haven't listened to our interview with Dwayne, we talked to him actually pretty near, it was not too far after he took over at Team Alpha Male. So definitely check that out. Faber wins via guillotine. And in a shocker, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson knocks out Joe Benavidez 2 minutes and 8 seconds into the first round. I don't think anyone saw that coming. I was calling a Benavidez knockout. I think even people going for Mighty Mouse, if you would have told them the fight ends via knockout, they probably would have said Benavidez has a better chance. Mighty Mouse just, was not known for knockout power. We sort of, knew him for his footwork and his speed, but not for knocking guys out. And he hit Joe right where he needed to hit him, turned off his lights. I still think a lot of Joe. I think if Mighty Mouse and Joe fight 10 times, that Joe wins, 3 to 5 of those 10 fights. But Mighty Mouse, I've been saying since they made the flyweight division that Joseph Benavidez was the best fighter. Even after the first time Johnson and Benavidez fought, it was a split decision. And I don't know, I just really thought the world of Joseph Benavidez. And I'm finally for the first time since they made the division, saying Mighty Mouse is the king of 125. Until I see otherwise, I don't think anybody beats him. I don't think Ian McCall. I don't think Joseph Benavidez. I don't think John Dodson. Mighty Mouse is a motherfucker, and he really proved something going out and just knocking out Joseph Benavidez wearing his Xbox One sponsorship shit, which I'm kind of curious to know what Microsoft pays him, because, they pay him to be his only sponsor. It's an exclusive deal. So, Mighty Mouse, he's definitely still an underrated guy too. I don't think you'll hear his name, passed around that much in the pound for pound rankings. You'll probably hear Anderson's name more, even though he's coming off of a loss. But, Mighty Mouse, you have got to watch out for that motherfucker knocking out Joseph Benavidez in the first round. That was UFC on Fox 9. Like I said, we're keeping it abbreviated. I'm trying to keep this to 30 minutes or less. I know y'all are on the holidays, away, seeing strippers, seeing your family, trying to give girls you went to high school with the herpes you got a few years ago from that tramp downtown. I know what your life is about. And I'm also a little bit drunk right now. But that does not matter. Let's move on to the news. I got a few news topics written down. And when I say I'm drunk, I'm a little tipsy. I'm not blackout wasted, obviously, or I wouldn't be able to be recording this whole goddamn podcast. I got a few news topics written down. Obviously, the biggest news of the last couple weeks was GSP. I believe it was Friday the 13th, scheduling a press conference and officially announcing that he was taking some time off. I don't want to use the word retirement, because he definitely left some big hints that he would be coming back. But for the time being, we got Johnny Hendricks and Robbie Lawler. They will be fighting for the interim, or it's not an interim, it's a vacated welterweight title. The winner of that will be the new undisputed welterweight champion. And now you've just got a ton of guys coming up the ranks. You got Woodley, you got Lombard, a couple of American top team guys, along with Robbie Lawler, who will be fighting Johnny Hendricks. Like I mentioned before, guys like, Brandon Thatch and Lim. This definitely opens up a huge chasm at a welterweight. I think George will come back. I'm not going to speculate on why he's leaving, because, it's personal shit. And if you needed to quit your job for a little bit because you were going through personal shit, I don't think you would appreciate people speculating why you had left. I don't know if any of his family's in trouble or what. But, George, I have my mixed emotions about George. I'm a big BJ Penn fan, and I think he definitely, without a doubt, cheated at that UFC 94 fight where he had his corner and Phil Nurse grease him up, and Penn, one of his best strengths is on his back, and the fact that he couldn't get any traction with his legs on George's back. Do I think Penn would have won without the grease? No. Pardon me. I think George still would have won, but I think whether or not he would have won, he still cheated. I think George is a very nice guy. He's very friendly, but I don't think that makes you a good ambassador for the sport. I don't think George was a good ambassador for the sport. He's not very engaging with fans at all. In Las Vegas, we probably had a dozen friends just, going around Vegas. Everybody saw everybody. People saw Rogan. People saw Dana White. People saw Johnny Hendricks, Chael, Rashad. Nobody. I don't know a single person who actually saw George St-Pierre. He doesn't run his own Twitter. He's not engaging with fans whatsoever. I don't think he's a bad guy, Like I said, I think he's a very nice and friendly dude from what I've seen, but I just don't think he at all is a good ambassador for the sport. And I hope he never comes back. Let's move on to the announcement that the 115 women's division, we learned a little while ago off the Fighter and the Kid podcast, which is an amazing podcast if you haven't checked it out, that the UFC will be opening up a 115 division, and we found out actually that the season after the Penn Edgar season of The Ultimate Fighter, they're going to focus on these strawweight women, and the winner of The Ultimate Fighter will be crowned champion. And, you know, we have got a ton of women coming over. I didn't list nearly as many as I should have. We have Tisha Torres and Felice Herrig. They both recently matched up against one another, and Torres found victory. Joanne Calderwood, the girl who I'm going to be rooting for because of my Scots-Irish heritage. I'd be blasting the bagpipes now, but I'm all alone sitting in an SUV, so I don't exactly have bagpipes, you fuck. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that season of The Ultimate Fighter. You know, not only will there be a UFC contract on the line, there's going to be a UFC belt on the line. The coaches have not been announced yet. I doubt it'll be women, just because, you know, they recently had Rousey versus Tate, and I don't think you're going to have Rousey be the coach of, you know, 2 of 3 straight seasons of TUF. And if Rousey isn't the coach, I don't see what they do, you know, unless it's Rousey Cyborg, but I doubt that happens. So yeah, the 115, the strawweight women's belt will be on the line with this season of TUF. That'll be interesting. Bigfoot Silva, he fails his drug test. And what a lot of people were calling the fight of the year, Bigfoot Silva fails his drug test. It really kind of ruins what was one of the better fights of 2013, which is really a shame. Silva is maintaining his innocence, which, you know, the way that dude just looks like one of those Easter Island fucks. I could see his doctor fucking something up maybe, but the fact of the matter is, whether he did so knowingly or not, pardon me, the guy was over the levels, and yeah, that's just a fucking shame, you know. I sort of shared the same sentiments as Ross. I don't know if I disliked him, but I thought that Silva had a lot of lucky marks on his record. There was that freak thing where Travis Brown blew out his knee fighting him. I thought Travis Brown would have beaten him if his knee hadn't have gone out. If Overeem would have just put his hands up when he fought him, I think he would have beaten him. But yeah, him failing this drug test was really a goddamn shame. Moving on, Alexander Gustafsson wins the UFC EA game cover vote. The screenshots for that game look fucking fantastic. I can't wait to play the shit out of it. And obviously, it was a work. Look, I'm not a guy here on the soapbox like my boy Ramses, the word on the street at the Aunt Jimmy show, saying that you know, oh, this fight was a work, this fight was a work. I don't think any, you know, modern day UFC fights have been a work, but I think this was a work. And, you know, we have people in the know, including the intelligent Jew, just, you know, looking at all of the metrics, and it did seem like if it wasn't a straight up jobbing, that, you know, there were certain influences out there that were pushing toward Gustafsson. But you know what? Better Gustafsson than George St-Pierre. Like I said before, I think Gustafsson's a better ambassador for the sport. And going into it, we knew that John Jones would be on the cover and someone else. I think Gustafsson being on the cover with Jones is really kind of neat. It'll remind us of that dogfight main event that Jones and Gustafsson had at UFC 165. I cannot wait for the rematch whenever it happens. In a final little cool note, Anthony Bourdain gets his first white belt stripe at Henzo's. We all know that his wife Otavia is like a blue belt or a brown belt or some shit. So it's cool seeing Anthony Bourdain, one of my favorite television personalities, get his first white belt stripe at Henzo's. We're about 25 minutes in, and let's get into some fucking UFC 168, people. It is going down December 28th. December 28th, if you're an MMA fan, December 28th is Christmas. The MGM Grand Garden Arena, where myself, Elena, Lexi, April, Ross, Allen, Ross, and Allen split a room sexually at the MGM Grand for UFC 167. What a great venue, and that is where the biggest rematch in UFC history is going down. Chris Weidman going out there to show everyone that his first fight against Anderson Silva was not a fluke. Let's start toward the bottom of the card and work our way up. I'm going to talk about 6 fights, 3 minor fights, 3 major fights. Obviously, the 3 major fights being Travis Brown versus Josh Barnett, Miesha Tate versus Ronda Rousey, and Anderson the Spider Silva taking on Chris Weidman. The 3 fights I want to start off with, though: Liebenhall, Poirier, Brandao, and Jim Miller versus Fabricio Camas. I'm going to fuck his name up. I'm just going to say Camas and have someone correct me when I find out that I was butchering his name the entire time. Chris Lieben and Uriah Hall. Dana White has already confirmed that this is a loser leaves town match. Which is sad. I don't want to see Chris Lieben or Uriah Hall leave the UFC, but whoever loses this fight probably will. Chris has 3 losses in a row. He lost to Mark Munoz, Derek Brunson, and Andrew Craig. Uriah Hall, obviously, after his scintillating start on The Ultimate Fighter, has lost twice. Once to Kelvin Gastelum at that tough finale, and the other time to John Howard at that UFC on Fox Sports 1 Boston card, where we saw Chael choke out Shogun Rua. I've never been less pumped for an awesome fight in my life. And this is going to be a great fight, but the reason I'm not pumped for it, I love the shit out of both guys. Uriah Hall, I've talked to, on Ramses' show, The Word on the Street. He is Team Darkside. He's a big friend of our buddy coach Jamie Huey. And Chris, if you've followed the show for a while, Chris was one of the first interviews we got. I think he was on episode 5 or 6. And he really went deep into some funny stories. Definitely check out, search the MMA podcast Lieben Stories on YouTube or iTunes, and it is a hoot. So, Lieben's got experience. Hall has got the speed advantage. And I don't know who is going to win, but whoever does will probably win via some sort of stoppage. We'll move on. Dustin Poirier, I don't know. I had a couple friends with the same spelling of last name. One went by Poirier, one went by Poirier. So who the fuck knows? He is coming off a win to Eric Koch. Before that, he obviously had that loss to Cub Swanson. And he's taking on Diego Brandao, who's on a 3-fight winning streak. Before that, he had a loss to Darren Elkins. This will be really interesting because I think Brandao definitely has the explosiveness to win the fight. But I just have this feeling that Dustin Poirier, whatever, is the more well-rounded fighter, especially if it goes to the mat. He has the grappling and the tools that'll let him get past Diego Brandao, who's still, a relatively young guy. Finally, we got Jim Miller taking on Fabricio Camas, another last name that I'm going to butcher up horribly. Jim Miller, in his last 5 fights, he's been sort of riding that win-loss. Way back, he lost to Bendo, then he beat Melvin Gillard, then he lost via sub to Nate Diaz, where Nate almost made him bite his own tongue off. He beat Joe Lauzon in an incredible fight back at that card pretty much this time of the year last year. in his most recent fight, the no contest to Pat Healy, that we can pretty much call a loss. Healy won that fight, but tested positive for weed, so, of course, we can't count it, because if you get high, you're fucking the devil. We're rolling up on 30 minutes here. And he's taking on Fabricio Camase, that just recently lost to Melvin Guillard. Before that, was on a 3-fight winning streak. I have Miller in this one. I think Miller has awesome wrestling. And you just need to look at the fact that both guys, fought Melvin Guillard pretty recently. Jim won convincingly. Fabricio lost convincingly. And because of that, I think my boy Jim Miller is going to get the victory. And this brings us to the last 3 fights we're going to break down before I wrap this shit up. We got Travis Brown taking on Josh Barnett. Travis Brown, he's on a 2-fight winning streak, defeated Gabriel Gonzaga and Alistair Overeem. Barnett himself is on a 2-fight winning streak. After losing to Daniel Cormier, he beat Nandor Gelmino at the Strikeforce finale, along with Frank Mir recently in his return to the UFC. I have Josh in this, and I feel kind of shitty because I have slept on Travis Brown so many times, and I just have kind of a feeling that me picking against him, he's going to prove me wrong yet again. But I just really like Josh's, Josh is the catch wrestling master. And let's not forget that Travis Brown, if Alistair Overeem, I don't know how Reem did not finish that fight, to be totally honest. He had Travis Brown dropped. The ref probably came close to stopping it, but obviously, he showed a ton of heart, and I can't count that fight against him at all, because he rallied back, and that front kick to Overeem was very impressive. I just think Josh is too experienced, and he will get past Travis Brown to move one step closer to getting back that heavyweight belt that he calls his own. Main and co-main event. We haven't had a main and co-main event this good in a long time, ladies and gentlemen. And sorry to Ross Finkelstein for stealing your tagline. Ladies and gentlemen! I'm annoying the shit out of our listeners. Co-main event, main event. Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman in the main event. Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey in the co-main. If you didn't watch this past season of Tough, you missed out. There was a huge rivalry between Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey 7-0, Miesha Tate 13-4. But 1-2 in her last in her last 3 fights. She lost to Ronda Rousey. Was looking like she was about to lose to Julie Kedzie before she finished the fight via armbar, and then got finished by Kat Zingano. And anybody saying that Tate-Zingano stoppage was early apparently wants to see Miesha Tate die. That was not an early stoppage. Kat was blasting her with all sorts of shots, that if anything was wrong with the stoppage, it was a late stoppage. Miesha Tate, she has been saying Rousey's doing films, which, yeah, Rousey did go and do the Expendables 18 or the Expendables 3, whatever one they're on, along with the Fast and the Furious 76 or Fast and the Furious 7, whatever the fuck Fast and the Furious and Expendables movie they're on. She was out filming them, and Miesha Tate apparently was, training arm bars and going to defend against the arm bar. Ronda Rousey is still going to win this fight via first round armbar. I'm really confident. If Miesha Tate is only training the armbar defense, then I feel like she knows what the fuck's going to go down. Ronda Rousey, put it best. She's an Olympic athlete, and she's facing a high school wrestler. And obviously, Miesha Tate has advanced past the point of being a high school wrestler, but that is their grappling backgrounds. Tate's grappling background is being a wrestler in high school. Rousey's grappling background is being a bronze medalist Olympic judokan. And Ronda Rousey, I don't dislike Miesha Tate at all. Her boyfriend, you've heard us say a few distasteful things about him. I did announce on Twitter the other day that Brian Caraway was the official The MMA Podcast Butt Snorkeler of the Year. We will have a few more awards in our official end of the year show next week, 2013. But early award, 2013 Butt Snorkeler of the Year, Brian Caraway. I just don't think Miesha Tate is that good. I don't think she's as good as Kat Zingano. I don't think she's as good as Alexis Davis. I don't know if she's as good as Jessica Ai. Ronda Rousey is at the top of the top, and I don't think she's going to have much a problem. Yeah, this has been a fun rivalry. Both chicks are super hot, whatever. But Ronda Rousey, in my eyes, takes this very easily, moves to 8-0, 2-0 in the UFC, and we'll see who she gets after she beats Tate. That brings us to the main event, folks. Maybe the fight I have been anticipating more than any fight in UFC history. Anderson Silva going out there trying to save his legacy against Chris Weidman, who, after Silva cruised to 16-0 in the UFC, Weidman ended that, bringing himself up to 10-0. And we'll really see. I absolutely hate all the Anderson fans saying that it was a fluke, it was a lucky punch. If you watch that fight really closely and you're a big fan of the sport and you call it a fluke, you're either letting your biases get in the way or you don't know what you're looking at. I mean, Silva was trying to clown, trying to do this and that. Weidman had none of it from the beginning of the first round till he knocked Silva out in the second. And his fans saying, "Oh, Chris isn't this, Chris isn't that." I just find it incredibly disrespectful. And you know what? All of this, I think, does nothing but help Chris. Because if you listen to all these fans and what everyone's saying, oh, it's a fluke, Anderson Silva's going to go out there and prove it was a fluke. I still, I think one of the biggest parts of the first fight was that Chris wasn't scared. Silva can intimidate the shit out of most guys he fights. Chris was not scared whatsoever, and he had that chip on his shoulder. He knew that most people were going for Silva and didn't think he had a chance. I still think, because of all these fans just talking a bunch of shit, I think Chris Weidman still has a chip on his shoulder, and rightfully so. He knocked out the champ, and seemingly no one's giving him credit for it. So, I'm not going to be shocked either way. If Anderson Silva wins, if Chris Weidman wins. The first time around when Weidman won, I was shocked. I was fucking shocked. This time, if Weidman wins, I'm not going to be shocked. If Silva wins, he's the greatest of all time. I can't really say I'll be shocked seeing the greatest of all time, avenging a loss. But in this one, Weidman said it best. He said, "Anderson, if you have your hands up, I'm going to take you down. If you have your hands down, I'm going to pop you." And I think Silva, he'll play around a little bit, but I think he's going to be more worried about Weidman's stand-up than he is about his wrestling. I think Weidman really employs his wrestling well. I think he gets in a few shots via ground and pound. And I think we see Weidman win a first or second round arm triangle submission. And goddamn, I cannot wait for this fight. The UFC has done an incredible job of putting out a bunch of content, whether it's the UFC 168 countdown, whether it's the 162 rewind, where it shows you all of the moments from the weigh-ins till after the fight, and you have both fighters kind of talking about each stage. It's really neat, and the UFC does an amazing job making that content available. Actually, probably one of the first things I do when we wrap this show up is I'm going to go inside and watch one of the Dana White vlogs. But, I guess that's pretty much it. We covered UFC on Fox 9, covered the weekend news, covered the upcoming card, standard the MMA podcast procedure. We have a lot of interviews in the works, and, I said it before, it's crazy. I was really expecting when we started the show that it was just going to be a lot of negativity because, not because I think we put out a bad product, but because the internet fucking sucks. The internet, you can put up a video of you, trying to do something, whether you're trying to hit a baseball, whether you're throwing crazy kicks, whether you're throwing out a podcast. You just get a slew of negative people and people wanting to bring you down. And whether it's people following us on Twitter, I got a bunch of Merry Christmas wishes from people I haven't even met from around the world, to the YouTube comments, people like our boy Razor Ramon or Rob Razor, I forget his name, partially because I'm a little drunk, but we've just gotten such positive feedback. And y'all have been so fucking cool. And I've had the chance to meet so many amazing people in this journey. This has been one of the greatest, choices I've ever made to start doing the podcast. We'll probably do another show in 2013. But, I'll hopefully be back in Denver. And I'll be on the line with, Alan, Ross, Yao. We'll do a full show. It won't be a little half-assed show where I'm just sitting in a car doing a solo show on the voice memos. I think this is the second show I've done solo. But, we really appreciate the shit out of you. And yeah, I mean, it's, when I say Merry Christmas and when I say we really appreciate you, it is not at all just something I'm saying to say and sound good. I am really thankful of every single one of you, and I am a lucky guy. Follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. We do this shit every Monday night, except for when my laptop is broke and I gotta go in a raggedy ass SUV. I don't even know what it is now. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think it's now officially Thursday. It's 12:07 here on the East Coast. I'm gonna email this to myself, I guess. I don't even know. I'd be bummed out if I couldn't even make a podcast out of this, because I've been fucking recording this shit for a straight 42 hours straight. My voice box is going to be all raggedy tomorrow, but it's worth it because I love the shit out of you. Merry Christmas, themmmapodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. Search us on iTunes and YouTube, the MMA Podcast. Get a full archive on YouTube. The iTunes, we kind of got to clean up because we only have storage for 2 gigabytes. But the YouTube does not limit us, so we have the entire library on there. You can send a comment, say how I sound like an autistic lesbian, criticize me because I ate beef jerky on a show, whatever the fuck you want to do. We love the shit out of you. Like I said, follow our friends. Ramses, Ramses is the MMA Podcast. That's me. Ramses is at the Aunt Jimmy Show. Ross Finkelstein, E before the L. C. Lowenstein, that E is also before the L. Lowenstein. I mean E before the N there, even though that wouldn't make any sense to put the N before the E. Our friend Alan, Westland Eagle, AH, Yao at Yao the Truth, MMA Mental. Thank you so much. I am so thankful to be doing this. Follow us, the MMA Podcast. I just said that probably for the 5th time. I love the shit out of you. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. We'll see you next week. We go!